So at first I thought do this later on, but I figured let me just make this now because I'm getting like messages and like comments and things like that even on my last video, and so I figured I'll kind of have this video in between a video I already had ready to go. People just kind of wanted to know, how am I doing? How are we doing with the news and everything? So I wanted to take a moment to try to make this a quick video, but informative, and hopefully this just gives you an idea of what's going on. I could obviously only speak from my perspective, but if you don't know, and if you're new to my channel, we are living here in Italy. We're stationed here, and we're already week 4 of kids, I feel like, not being in school. So for us, this is nothing new. But what has changed overall here is they did basically place us all on like mandatory house arrest, and this is day 4 of like mandatory house arrest. This is like, I'm gonna first talk about overall what's going on, at least in our region. I think it's going on in all of Italy, but like at least I can speak to, like I said, our region. It's already been like 4 weeks of kids not being in school. They were slowly but surely canceling one thing after another, and now at this point in time, literally the only thing open is the grocery store, the hospital. And I'm sorry, you guys, I'm gonna try to edit out as much coughing as possible so that that's not super annoying. But so they've closed the grocery stores, or sorry, they haven't closed the grocery stores. The only thing open are the grocery stores, medical offices, gas stations, like, but restaurants, regular stores, things like that are all closed. If you need to drive anywhere, you have to have this particular piece of paper that literally states why you are leaving your house. And they are having checkpoints. The Carbonari and stuff are out. They're giving tickets, they're giving fines. You can be arrested if it gets to that point, but it needs to be of necessity. So if you go grocery shopping, it can't be like, oh, well, the whole family's going grocery shopping. It's got to be basically just me going. Heaven forbid if for some reason I needed to have Orion, they just give you a little bit more of a hard time, but you have to be able to kind of like show why it is you had to take your child with you, whether that be like in our case for military. So like, you know, it would be like if Sean was deployed or if Sean was like TDY or something, I would need to be able to show like I'm by myself and this is why my kid has to come with me. If not, basically the base has advised us that the active duty member, so like for me, that'd be my husband, he needs to basically take care of everything. So I'm honestly not leaving the house because I just don't want to risk it. I don't really understand sometimes some of the rules, and it's just not that big of a deal to me in terms of trying to get to base. Because the base is in a whole different town than us, I just am not trying to cross that many town lines, have to get stopped by that many, you know, police, and risk getting the like 260 euro fine in each city. Only thing that's now I'm going to talk about for us specific, that's kind of the bummer, because that's kind of like the overall thing going on here is people are not supposed to leave, is I got sick, as you guys can tell. This is day 7 or 8 that I would say I've had symptoms. You guys saw like in the vlog when I was like, oh, I think it's allergies, or I think I'm getting sick. Flash forward probably a couple more days, and I think in the next vlog that you're going to see, I start to kind of say, okay, I think I'm getting sick. So a couple days pass, and then I was like, I am sick. My throat swelled up so bad that I was like, I cannot breathe. It hurts so bad to just like exist. And then I started to develop this cough. This cough is mild, you guys. And I'm going to insert here. If you're like grossed out by coughs, then I guess just pause this for a second. But like, I'm going to insert my cough here. So that cough literally would go on, I kid you not, at one point I was timing it, every 60 seconds. I did not get a break. It was just like in the best way that I can explain it is I felt like I was drowning from the inside. Like if you've ever gone out and like, you know, like say if you were at a water park and like say a ton of water is being poured over your face where it's like you somewhat can get oxygen, but like you also will like inhale water and it'll make you cough and you're gonna like choke. Like that is what I felt like constantly. My chest was tight. And at one point I was like, I need an inhaler or I need a defibrillator, like not defibrillator, I can't even think straight, you guys. My brain's been so fried. Anyways, need an inhaler, whatever, to kind of like help me breathe. Yesterday, I woke up and started to feel like I'm finally on the up and up. I've had to be monitored by public health and a doctor every day. And so yesterday they were like, yeah, it sounds like, you know, you're getting better. And so then just now I talked to them and it's still like, I'm still not in the, like out of the woods, because the problem that I'm having now, what I realized when I'm looking at my blood sugar is ever since I've been sick, my blood sugar has been through the roof. So my fasting glucose level has been like 130. Like it's insane. And my normal fasting glucose is in the 70s to maybe 80s. So they just notated that. They're going to keep an eye on that. Getting supplies to me was interesting because basically with knowing that I have the gestational diabetes, I was like, I'm going to run out of supplies being placed on quarantine. So they had to like give me new prescriptions through the base. And then they allowed Sean, before they placed him on quarantine, to come and get the medication for me. They placed all of us basically, I'm considered isolation because I have the symptoms and everything like that. When they did the screenings and stuff for me, I'm moderate risk. I honestly feel like I got sick from being in the hospital. It's just if I had to guess, because I didn't really go out much. Like once it started to really kind of go, I was like, we're going to kind of stay in, because I was, as they say, that vulnerable population. And so I didn't really go, but I mean, I had to go to like appointments and things, and I've had a lot. And I really think it happened from the hospital. And like now all the cases are starting to show how many have been in the hospital. So I don't know, that's my guess. But unfortunately, I've been at the hospital and I have been in one of the red zone affected areas. My fever never went above 100.5, so that was good. Baby's good. I feel him kicking all the time. He's non-appreciative of all my coughing. Honestly, and everybody keeps asking like, well, do you have it? Are you getting tested? Let me give a little bit of an idea of the situation here. So with multiple levels of layers, I would say, of some issues. One, because they've made it where obviously I can't leave the house, right? I'm in isolation. Then you have it where people can't just come to your house and deliver stuff because you have to have these decrees and these forms and stuff like that of following it. Then there's a shortage of tests and things like that. The base does not have the capability to test. Everybody in the world is basically needing these tests. So the doctor was very, very honest with me, where she said, we want to get you tested. You need to get tested because, especially because I was pregnant. But the problem is they don't have tests yet. And by the time they actually fully get them and figure out a way to get it to me, I will be out of the woods probably. So, honestly, at the end of the day, it's going to be one of those things that who knows if I did, who knows if I didn't have it. That's why they just keep monitoring. If anything gets worse, then I need to go to the emergency room, obviously. But so far I've just been sick, you know, like I said, the coughing and stuff was probably the worst, especially the feeling like I was drowning. But that part has at least kind of passed. And like I told them, you know, I still have this cough, and for the most part it's the dry cough, but sometimes I get a little bit of a wet cough, but I don't have the same pressure on my chest that I did. So I feel like we're still on the up and up. Like they said, you know, at the end of this 14 days, they would, like if you had the virus, you'd be treated the same as if you didn't. So that's why for me in getting tested, we'll see. Like if it were to come tomorrow, then okay. But if not, it's going to become minute. I've posted on my Instagram, and I had to just kind of go off, because the one thing that I can say as somebody living here, as somebody seeing it, is people really need to open their eyes and open their ears and realize that there isn't a need to panic. And that's the biggest thing that I want to say is nowhere is this saying, oh my God, zombie apocalypse is coming, you're all gonna die. But everybody needs to be aware. Everybody needs to be a little bit more cautious and remember that it's not necessarily about you. The reason that people are concerned is because, like right now, they keep asking, how's Orion? Orion has absolutely no symptoms, but guess what? I could have this virus and Orion could literally be carrying this virus right now, but he just is asymptomatic. And that is the problem, is people need to be aware that if you've been exposed, if you've been around it, because now say if I had this or Orion had this and Orion had no symptoms and he went to my father who has MS, who has no immune system, he could kill my father. That's the problem, is you have to be aware that it's not always necessarily about you. It's about the fact that this is spreading and it's detrimental to some communities, elderly, immune compromised. And so you just want to be cautious because of the fact that this spreads so fast, but it can spread undetected is the concern. You don't need to be at stores wiping out shelves. You don't need to be stocking up for months worth of toilet paper and food and things like that. I would say to get yourself maybe a little bit extra, because if you're placed on quarantine all of a sudden, like we were, you don't want to be screwed. But there's no need for like a panic. And I feel like people keep trying to post and downplay and say like the media and stuff. And I feel like I have not seen a single news article that said the coronavirus is coming and you're all gonna die. I think that, they've come out and they've given you the statistics, they've told you what's going on. But I think the biggest thing that I said on my Instagram, and I will say this here too, is it does not matter. And I really hate seeing the comparison where people say, well, the flu kills more, HIV kills more. There are still deaths happening, and every death should be something to matter. Somebody dies in this virus that you are related to, the last thing you would want somebody to tell you is, well, more people died yesterday, so it doesn't matter. That's basically what it seems like when I feel like people are sitting here putting statistics and acting like, well, it doesn't matter because it's not as dramatic as the flu or this. We should be concerned all the time on everything, right? Diseases, viruses. Even after this goes away, we should still be washing our hands. We should still know that money is disgusting when it exchanges people and is full of germs. We should know that, guess what? Your essential oils are not just going to kill bacteria and germs and viruses. Like, people need to be aware of these things at all times, but let's not downplay this and act like this is no big deal, because it is a big deal. And it may not be as big to you, but it's going to be big to somebody, because some people are still losing their mothers, their fathers, their brothers, their sisters, their grandparents right now. So show a little respect. As of right now, we are supposed to be under house arrest overall, everybody, until April 3rd. We are still in quarantine and isolation until March 25th. So Sean, all of us, we can't leave the house, period, until March 25th. But after that, Sean can start going to work and stuff again. And then we're just under the regular house arrest like everybody else. I'll say I think it's been incredible to see this country and their resiliency. Being American and being here and looking at a country that puts their people first above money, there's no other humbling experience. Like, honestly, it's been really incredible to see the fact that as soon as they put us on this lockdown, the government came out and said people don't have to pay their mortgages. I feel like America would sooner let every single person die before companies were to sit there and say you don't have to pay your bills. The way that people have jumped to help one another has been incredible to see. I do have one more little story to share that was kind of my absolute breaking point mentally, and this happened yesterday. Lila somehow got out. She left. Orion was calling through the house for her. Sean, we're all looking for her. Sean goes out. He's walking. He's trying to find her. And literally, it is something that he could have gotten fined for. Like Sean could have gotten like a 600 euro fine for just walking and trying to find Lila. And it started to get to be nighttime. I'm looking at Orion and he's like, I don't understand, like, where's my dog? And I was like, how am I gonna explain to this 3-year-old that his dog is gone? And by the grace of God, this Italian woman who I've never met before comes down. She rang my neighbor's door, and but I heard the barking and I went out and I see her and she's telling me in Italian, like, you know, is this your dog? And I'm like, oh my good, like, I was thanking her so much. And then she was telling me how Lila had gone and like basically then come to, you know, discovered them. And she was saying how her Bambini, her baby had just loved Lila and was playing with Lila. But the fact that even for that in this community right now, she could have easily just been like, I see that dog, I'm not going out, whatever, I'm not getting a fine. I feel like that's sort of the American attitude. And here, I mean, she walked from, I don't even know where, but she brought her all the way back to us. That just right there just made me just, like, I love this country. I love being here. It is a shame to see what is going on in terms of what will happen with the economic hit and stuff from them, but the resiliency, the way that this community still comes together for each other is absolutely positively amazing to see. Tonight, there's going to be a flash mob of everybody playing music outside of their windows so that everybody can hear through the neighborhoods music echoing. It doesn't matter. They say bring whatever instrument, play whatever music. And it's just, again, to just show that, you know, they're not letting it get them down. And I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It's just, I get chills because it's just amazing because not to say, I mean, like, obviously at the end of the day, I'm an American. But man, I wish that America would look at Italy and learn from us right now. I don't want this, like I said, to be too long. I hope this kind of gave an overall gist of what's going on here. We're going to try to film basically some morning and night routines because we've gotten our routines pretty down since we're stuck here. But obviously you're not going to see us out and about for quite a while because we're not allowed to. I want to thank all of you who have sent messages and things and prayers when I have been updating and saying when I first got sick, but know that I'm okay. We're going to be okay. And I'll see you guys in the next video.